go, because if you in your other chats and you got them one friends that want to be all in the videos, dancing around on stage, prancing around,
Take that, take that,
come
take
to
that.
come to Golden State. Talk about that warrior spirit, man. As we've been doing it, I think I can say we kind of started this. We've been talking about almost all the teams that are in the playoff contention, or at least trying to make the playoffs, and what's the ceiling for them. And we kind of talked about last week, I think, was Jordan Poole missed out there in Golden State. And some people would say yes, some people would say no. Then they go to Boston and get cleaned up. And it was like, maybe they do. But then they turn around and go to Milwaukee and say, hey, the Nasties, you can make the court, because we're gonna beat up on your brother and them right quick. They won 6, 7 straight, but we're gonna stop that. But the West, man. The West. So all I gotta say is the West. Do the Warriors have enough Warrior spirit? What's the ceiling for the Golden State Warriors, man? Joe, you the last team that played this team in the playoffs.
What Lakers at?
I'm talking on this panel.
The last team I lost on.
I just want to hear you say that. I don't know your pain.
That's a different. You know what? I ain't about to say it.
What's your selling for this Golden State Warrior team?
So, this is interesting. Warriors are an interesting team. Championship pedigree. Steph Curry. They got a good defense with Draymond Green leading in charge. Since the last 15 games, the Warriors had the second best record behind Boston. Fourth defensive rating, and they're so undersized. They're first in rebounding, first in assists. Since in the last 15 games. Draymond's been back for about like 20, 21 games, right? So they've been turned up since Draymond got implemented back into the system. But when you look at the teams in the West, right? In the 7-game series, like the West is weird. The only team I don't feel confident on beating are the Nuggets. Everybody else, they're capable of winning. They're going to beat Minnesota. They're going to beat, especially with Cat being out now, they could beat OKC in the 7-game series. They can beat the Clippers in the 7-game series. I mean, injuries, you know how that goes, right? They could beat the Pelicans in the 7-game series. They could beat the Suns. They could beat us. They could beat the Mavericks. Because in the playoffs, it's a different ballgame. The Warriors are a different team in the playoffs. I feel like they lost in the playoffs to the Lakers because the Lakers were the Warriors with size, because they have LeBron James. LeBron James isn't an expert. He's an expert at a 7-game series. He's going to exploit every mismatch. He's going to find every loophole that takes him to get over the hump in a 7-game series. So were the Warriors, but they went against LeBron, and they just a bigger team. If they would have went against us, y'all saw that, and they beat us, and we were much better. Like the Warriors last year were not as good as the Warriors this year. The Warriors this year is a much better team. Wiggins, fresh off his hiatus, right, playing against us. They just traded back for GP2. Like, it was a lot going on. Draymond even got suspended in the middle of our series. So I would say their ceiling is, I'm going to say it, man. I do not want to shortchange them. I want to say Western Conference Finals, but if somebody could knock out Denver on the way, they could probably make it to the finals. But I'm going to say Western Conference Finals only because of Denver. If Denver's in the way, Western Conference Finals, that's it.
Sure about that? Joe?
Uh-oh. We agree.
I don't know what made you say this. I really don't. Because I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
You sure about that?
You sure about that? The way you say that?
Look, you gotta take into account. Look at the top 3 teams in the West. Look at the top 2 teams in the West.
Yeah, don't do 3.
Top 2 teams in the West are young teams.
Yeah.
And the number 2 team right now just lost one of their best players, which means more than likely they might drop. Now they still have Ant, and they still have Rudy Gobert, and they still got what's the other guy? Reed
Daniels.
You still got other guys there, but Cat is a big part of this team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to take a hit with them. What other teams really can stop the Warriors other than the Nuggets?
The Clippers.
That is true. But I think right now the Clippers would face the Nuggets first before they even get to the Warriors because of their positioning right now.
Yeah.
No, if they go to the playoffs right now, they won't see the Nuggets until the Western Conference Finals.
Mm.
The Clippers.
The Clippers. Right now, Warriors in the play-in. That's a problem right there.
Huge problem. But the Warriors could do exactly what the Lakers did last year and be a playing team to make it to the Western Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
This is a championship pedigree team. We know what they're capable of. We know what they're capable of. They've won 4 rings. They know exactly what does Clay do all the time. They know what it takes, man. And look, the Warriors are undefeated when Clay and CP3 are coming off the bench together.
Mm-hmm.
Clay is making an argument for being 6th man of the year, even though he ain't been 6th man all year.
6 man of the month. I don't know. Jordan Poole got something to say about that.
And they losing. Can't be no 6 man in your team still lose. What you helping them do?
Stats. But the Warriors, they still have it, man. Draymond is definitely helping out as well, doing his little bit of stuff defensively, but also facilitating and everything. And Steph gonna be Steph.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you gotta have some fear when it comes to the Warriors. You know, I had the utmost confidence in the Kings last year going against the Warriors, and I was right. They took them all the way to Game 7.
Experience.
But Steph just had to put up 50. It's only so much you can really do with this team, and Steph can get high at any time. Then they got Kuminga, who's now starting to play big minutes and starting to step up. Andrew Wiggins is back. Then you also got the young guy Brandon Poe, who stepped up who's stepping up. So this team could definitely do a lot. I don't see anything that could stop them from making the Western Conference Finals, or that's like a definite stop. Like it's no way. I don't see a way where it's no way they can't make it. Now I do see that there are possibilities where they can't, because we've seen how bad they can be, but we also know how good they can be. Remember last year they couldn't win a road game.
And they won
or was
2
it the year
against us.
before?
It was last year.
Yeah, last year. Last year they couldn't win a road game, and then when they needed to win a road game the most, they won 2 road games.
Yeah.
Now after that they lost against the Lakers, but still, what I'm saying is the possibilities is there. So the Warriors, I wouldn't be shocked. The Warriors to me is like the Chiefs in the NFL. It's almost like it's nothing you can do to. It's like it's almost a guarantee that they're going to be somewhere fighting to be in the Western Conference Finals.
That's a good comparison.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good comparison, because now I had to think about what the Chiefs did this regular season, and it didn't look like they was going to make it to the Super Bowl, and
exactly
they just won it. But I don't. Yeah, like I want them to prove me wrong, but I don't see it, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's too many up and down moments this season where it's just like, of course, the Draymond suspension happened, but now he's back. They also have found a way to get Kuminga and Moody in the offense with a regularity. Shout out to Steve Kerr for putting his ego aside and realizing that. Shout out to Klay Thompson and saying, look, man, I'll come off the bench because we do got 4 of those things, and I'm trying to get 5, like who don't want to be in that type of company? So the ceiling for me is where they're at right now, is the play-in. The basement, I got them. I ain't gonna say lottery because they far from the lottery, but you look at the teams that they're bunched up with right now. You got the Lakers who are fighting. You got the Mavericks who are still trying to figure themselves out every other day. And then you got your Kings, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a rough bunch to be with right now, because they are all playing for the same goal, is to get either in the play-in or the playoffs. Now Phoenix, they're a mystery. They're a mystery because if the big three is out there, you see what they're capable of. But sometimes
Mhm.
they're interchangeable. Booker may not play. Bill may not play. KD has been the most consistent thing on the Suns right now.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And look at I don't know, man. With Norman Powell showing up the way he has, man, the Clippers have impressed me, man. I'm sorry, but I it's one of those things where you like I see what y'all saying about they could make the Western Conference Finals because of who they are, but I don't know, man.
I just
I,
read Lamar. I just read Lamar's comment. That's funny.
hey, they are though. They are though. And they both will show up in a moment where you're like, they're not supposed to be doing this. Like they are not supposed to be doing this. So Western Conference Finals, I see how y'all got there, but I'm not. I put a ticket on pre-order, but I ain't gonna buy it just yet. Like give me till April, and I'll maybe I'll change my mind. But right now, I got them as a playing team, and the basement is they just stay where they at and they rebuild for next year because the age factor. It's a lot of things that go into it.
Where they're like 11-4 in their last 15 games. So
That's
12-3, which is second in NBA.
12-3 actually.
Tied with the Orlando Magic, by the way. Second NBA.
we're not talking about Orlando. Okay, we leave that to RBO. They just
So,
beat the
so I
Wizards
just want to get them a
yesterday.
shout out real quick.
They beat the Wizards yesterday. After the
They got
Wizards was up 21 points. I don't want to talk about Orlando right now.
Y'all was up
Orlando.
21 and lost the game. Oh my god.
Come on now. Sixth man of the year though.
but like 6 man.
12
But like
but it's
the
the
reason-
company they in. Like, look at go ahead, Joe. It's the company they in. Like, if it was any other team around them right now, like if it was just them and the Lakers, I'm picking Golden State over the Lakers. But
Mhm.
Mavericks and Kings, they both are still trying to like find their footing, and they are like
The
solidifying.
Mavericks are losing games right now, so I
Now
don't
look,
even know why you
I'm telling you
mentioned
right
that.
now, if we're
They
doing a
over them right
bracket.
now. That's all.
If we're doing a bracket, I'm not picking the Warriors to get to Western Conference Finals. I
I'm
don't
not
care how the brackets lined up. I'm not picking them. But I wouldn't be surprised because, like me watching them last year as a Kings fan, and I felt like this was a favorable matchup for us, right? I watch how important a 7 game series is. Like I feel like you see the game differently as a fan than you do if your team is actually in it and you watched every game of this team. You know all the flaws. I know all the I know everything about the Kings, y'all. Huh?
We got news, but go ahead.
About
Oh, I thought you said that they was gonna lose.
I'm like that.
My
All right.
bad.
Oh yeah. Okay. You can bring it at the friends. Yeah, I see it. But like, I know everything about the Kings, right? And I literally watched that series last year, and I saw the coaching battle from game to game. I literally I saw it like, okay, this happened game 1, game 2. Oh, this is the counter he came. Game 3. Oh, this is the counter he came. Game 4. Oh, I literally realized like, dang, this is really different from the regular season. So
That's why I love Spo.
and yes, and Steve Kerr, that dude, his adjustments in the playoffs are really good. That's why he's one. That's why people be killing him. Like, bro, like the dude's a really good coach. So you got that with Steph Curry playing better than he did last year. Kaminga playing better than he did last year. Clay playing better than he did last year. You add Chris Paul. Like, they are a better team this year than they were last year. Last year, they weren't good. But this year, they are better. So I felt like, yeah, with the right matchups outside the Nuggets, basically, they could beat anybody in the West in a
So
7 game series,
you
including
gotta
the
add the
Clippers.
Clippers to your list, man.
I don't know because the Clippers, you said it to me last year, the health. Paul George just missed, family just came back from injury.
They different this year.
I hope so.
That's because Kawhi's playing more games. That don't mean he won't
maybe
get.
that's why.
That don't mean he won't get hurt come playoff time.
I mean,
It's Paul
that's
George,
funny
man.
that look at the tables turn. That was me last year. Y'all sound like me and look at me trying to fight for Kawhi. He might could play.
And then Westbrook's got his daggone hand injury.
You forgot I was with you last year. That
I
was
know.
yo.
Yeah,
That's what I
was like,
mean.
the
Look at
Clippers, the
Joe.
Clippers. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yo, they're not gonna be playing by playoff time."
He played one game.
Paul George didn't even play. He got hurt right before the playoff. I'm like, wow, right on schedule.
Exactly.
Like, we had this whole debate, and then next thing you know, Paul George out. I'm like, what the heck is going on?
All right, but and the Mavericks, to that Mavericks point, that's funny that you say that because are they doing the same thing they did last year? They started to tank after the All-Star game.
But the
what they
Mavericks
thinking
have
for?
some new additions too, so we gotta
Who
take that
knew?
consideration. I think they'll be better defensively. They
Who
actually
knew?
made moves to be better, huh?
Who knew?
PJ Washington and Gafford.
Gafford,
And
all he do is rebound and protect the paint. What's so new about that?
that's what I'm saying. Defensively, they're gonna be better. I think they'll be good.
That's not nothing to be losing for. He playing defense. You're supposed to be winning.
And they losing to the best offense in NBA history. Pacers.
Aren't they like 1-6 in their last 7 games or something like that?
I know they lost to the Pacers twice in the last like 3 days. That's my time.
That's crazy.
Ty got a lot of talk for Kevo.
Kevo, that's why you need to just leave Ty alone, man. I swear. Just leave Ty alone. But we did have some breaking news in NFL. Jaguars and standout guard Urza Cleveland have agreed on a new term, 3 years, $28.5 million, $14.5 million guaranteed. He was actually traded. Jacksonville traded for him last season.
Good
So
job. Let's get it.
Jaguars keep a standout guard.
Let's get it. Keep that whole line intact.
Everybody doing some sneaky signing, man. It's starting. Monday's gonna be a long day.
That's because the 13th is around the corner. They're trying to get some of these deals done before the 13th.
Zach Ertz, look at him trying to follow his old coach. I mean, come on, man.
Zach Ertz.
Yeah, 1 year, $5 million. But all we asked for